What's up, Design family, and welcome back to another episode of Fit Design TV. So glad to have you guys back on the channel. We'll be looking at the basics of stock keeping for fashion brands. There are a ton of different ways, and depending on which level of business you find yourself in, it's going to differ. Watch this episode. I'm going to go through what stock keeping actually is and what it isn't. In this episode, we'll go through these 6 key stepping stones that you need to cross to actually take your stock effectively. What's up, Design family, and welcome to Fit Design TV. So glad to have you here. On this channel, we discuss all things sports fashion, graphic design, manufacturing, and technology. We'll discuss key topics, answer pressing questions, and provide actionable steps on starting your own product line. If you're interested in any of the above topics, stick around. You're in for a good one. What is a stock take? Well, a stock take in short is the physical verification of the goods, unless you go ahead and you physically verify one by one, which is what a stock take actually is. And you eliminate any goods that are number one missing, maybe have been already sold, or they're actually damaged. You make sure that you understand where your goods are at, the actual physical quantities, not the recorded quantities, because humans make mistakes and systems make mistakes. So taking account of your stock every now and then is essential to backing up and verifying the numbers that you see in your inventory. When it comes to frequency, you can actually keep track of your stock as frequently as you deem possible or as you deem necessary. If you're a larger company, you can definitely afford to have an automated system. But if you're a smaller business, you're going to want to go down the manual option. Yes, it may be more time consuming, but this may be the only option available to you when you're starting out. It's very important to take stock frequently, so that you can consistently see what items are performing well and what items are underperforming and what items are performing better than expected. So what are these 6 key steps that I mentioned in the beginning of this episode? Well, number 1 is going to be make sure you prepare a current inventory list. So you need to make sure that you have full clarity over all of the items you currently have in stock. Feel free to not only include the SKU of the item, but also to give your employees and give the people actually taking count of the stock a little bit more clarity, make it easier for them, provide a description of the product. Number 2, make sure that you're organizing your inventory per department or per section. Why is this useful? You can divide and conquer. By having different departments or different sections to your inventory, you're able to actually assign specific groups of team members or employees to actually go ahead and isolate the count for each department. Let's just say you're a brand that sells men's items, women's items, kids items, and accessories. There you have 4 departments. And number 3, go through each item on the list and make sure that you match them up. Ideally, this hand-counted number that you're actually taking your inventory of is going to match the exact number on your original inventory list. So if you came into your stock taking with an inventory list of 300 red shirts, your hand-counted items should effectively match that up. Humans make mistakes, whether they overcount or they undercount. Having 2 separate team members take the same count twice is going to make sure that you're double checking and you're removing any unnecessary human error from your actual operations. Number 4, now you need to go through any damaged items or returned items. Specifically, damaged items or returned items may be the reason that you actually have a mismatch between your inventory and the actual counted number of units, right? Taking account of your stock in the beginning, you knew that you're receiving 300 units from your manufacturer, but throughout the process of your operations or double checking, you may have noticed or encountered a couple of defective items which you immediately remove from your stock. Number 5, if absolutely necessary, you may need to reinstate a recount. If you've gone through your defective items, your returned items, and still you're having trouble matching up your original inventory amount, well, here you may actually need to recount your goods. And if you still have a discrepancy, you may need to write it off altogether and update your inventory list. Let's just say you've taken account of your stock and we noticed that there was a discrepancy. From there, you need to actually use your judgment to discern whether this is a simple operational error or this is an intentional negligence or an intentional act of theft. Make sure that you're acting swiftly, effectively, and logically. Number 6, last but definitely not least, now that you've actually taken an effective take of your stock, you need to update your core inventory list. You need to go back to your backend and update the numbers that you see in your inventory. That way, you're moving forward with the correct numbers, and any updates you make from there on are actually made according to the correct number of physical units you have in your stock. Make sure that often, whether it's weekly or every other week, you're taking account of your stock. By now, you should have a much better understanding of the importance of taking account of your stock effectively and frequently. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully you've learned a thing or two about taking account of your stock effectively. If you did, consider smashing a massive thumbs up. It really does help us out, and it motivates us to keep producing this content for you. If you want to hop on a one-on-one consultation call with me personally, I offer limited slots every single week. I can definitely help you out with that and give you guys the tools necessary to go ahead and grow to the next level. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fit Design TV. Until next week's episode, stay out.